Hello, my name is Dr. Tayyab Rashid. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist and I welcome you to this masterclass on positive growth. I have spent nearly 2 decades in clinical psychology working with complex mental health issues, especially of young adults from diverse cultural backgrounds. They have been suffering from anywhere from debilitating anxiety to psychosis to borderline personality issues and to panic disorder. Uh, and the approach I have taken is somewhat unique. How can we use the highest strengths of clients, people with such clinical challenges, and harness them to mitigate, to encounter the problems they are facing? Because, in my view, a client is not a client or anyone is not merely a bundle of stressors and deficits and dysfunction and problems. We are complex uh, creatures. We embody both the capacity to feel resentment but also to be grateful. We can fight, we can be competitive, but we also have the capacity to cooperate. We experience and display hubris, but we also see the wonderful displays of humility and modesty. So my job as a therapist, as also in educational settings, I use some of these interventions, is to meaningfully integrate stressors and strengths of individuals to paint a more holistic picture which helps them to use their resources towards positive growth. I have been incredibly fortunate to work with people in very tough circumstances. Um, I was able to go with a colleague when the tsunami hit in Asia in 2005. I worked with 9/11 families for many years, especially families who were coming from diverse cultural backgrounds because they didn't have culturally responsive interventions. I also had the pleasure to work with refugees, Syrian refugees in Toronto, and also with the mental health professionals in Lebanon who have been on displaced, and the journalists who have been on the front lines reporting, but then carrying the cost of that reporting the traumas and the challenges. In 2014, I had the opportunity to go to Ukraine when Russia first invaded and annexed Crimea to work with educators because they had started feeling the ill effects of this invasion, and we can still see the remnants of it after this recent attack. In 2019, some of you may remember the terrible tragedy happened in Christchurch, where a mass shooting in two mosques resulted in the loss of 51 innocent lives. So I had the opportunity to go and work with the Muslim community in Christchurch. All of these experiences of working with communities who are traumatized and grieving have taught me one universal lesson, and that is no matter how tough the circumstances are, human spirit is amazingly resilient. Of course, there is time for grieving. There's time we need time to heal by providing different support. But the human spirit of bouncing back, of coming back from these challenges, has never amazed me. And that is the spirit that sustains my work. that if these folks who have lost their loved ones, who have lost their homes, who have lost their countries, who everything they have lost, and they can still, most of them, if not all, cling to the hope. That is the hope that sustains my work, and I have tried to share the learnings that I learned from these communities. I had the pleasure of working with various faith communities in various settings. And one of the things I've learned from these communities is when the tragedy hits, when we face challenges, our ability to bond together helps us to heal. There's a saying in our culture that when you share the grief, if it dissolves into half. When you share the happiness, it doubles. And I've seen that in working with these communities. In working with various communities on mental health issues, one of my dreams has been to bring psychotherapy, counseling out of therapist room, because many people suffer. Most of them suffer in silence. Nearly 2/3 of them do not seek treatment because they feel either they can manage on their own, because mental health is a taboo in many countries, in many cultures. Even when you want to seek help, there's not appropriate or effective or accessible help available. So it is very important that we disseminate the resources that we have extracted from decades of good science, which we know evidence shows that if you work on some distorted thinking of a depressed person, it can lift them out of depression. If we work on the anxious stimuli that makes people anxious, we can teach them techniques to become calmer. We can, even with psychosis, we can, with serious mental health issues, we can have comprehensive psychosocial and medication which can improve the conditions of these folks. But what's the barrier? The barrier is reluctance to seek help because of stigma. Stigma, I can deal with it, or if I tell to some people how I will be perceived, or how my family will be perceived. The face saving is a big issue in my own culture that I come in, South Asian culture. It's easier, or even it's preferable if mental health is translated into some sort of physical pain or somatized. So is in Chinese culture. So I'm hoping by translating therapeutic science by these wonderful courses which Infijoy is producing, these nuggets, these lessons are translated into disseminable, applicable, replicable, easy to follow steps, and it can reach to people who most need it and unfortunately are unlikely to seek active treatment. So in my attempt to bring therapy out of therapist room, I am delighted to present this Infijoy course on positive growth. Now, positive growth means what all the other growth is negative? No, positive growth in this course specifically mean that anyone who is experiencing worries, anxieties, doubts, irritation, can they do something about it? I don't promise, it's not a panacea, but we will still in this course equip you with skills that will help you to start at least looking at some of the issues which you wanted to resolve for a very long time and you have tried many ways, the self-help recipes, the aromatherapies, the retreats, the online apps, and none of them have worked. So this is opportunity for you to look evidence-based exercises and interventions in a very easy, applicable way that will help you to identify your strengths and also teach you skills how you can use these strengths to decrease anxiety or manage it adaptively. I don't promise that there will be complete elimination of anxiety. Perhaps that is not even desirable, but you'll also have the opportunity to cultivate small sanctuaries of positive emotions such as gratitude and also ability to foster positive, secure, loving relationship by spotting strengths of your loved one. Because one of the fundamental things that holds us back, that keeps us in this frigid state of isolation and negativity and doubt about others is our negativity bias. We spend far more time on negativity than on positive attributes of ourselves and of others. So this course in a nutshell helps you to overcome that negativity bias through very applicable, disseminable, shareable, relevant interventions. And it ends with a very important point, and that is why I am doing this, why whatever you are doing this, what is our purpose on this planet Earth. So the course will culminate by helping you to articulate what is your purpose of your existence on this planet Earth or in this life, and what is it that you can do to leave this place better than you found it.